Islamic finance over the years has shown remarkable resilience in the face of unprecedented challenges and navigating through disruptions. The industry is emerging stronger and poised for significant growth. Hello and welcome to Islamic Finance Weekly. I am Rahma Say Muhammad. In the last episode, we had an introduction into the concept of Takaful. We got acquainted with the types of Takaful and how it is beneficial to you and your loved ones. So on today's episode, we'll be discussing on the pains and gains, that is issues and problems and prospects and opportunities of Islamic insurance. And today with me in the studio is none other than Hajjat Tayyibat Adeniran, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Hilal Takaful Nigeria Limited. Hello, Hajjat Tayyibat. Welcome on the show.
Hello, thank you for
coming, for doing this with us.
Thank you very much. And how are you, viewers?
Yes, we're fine. Alhamdulillah. Happy New Year. Compliment of the season.
Compliment of the season. Alhamdulillah. Allah have seen us till this day.
Alhamdulillah. All right, ma'am, let's dive right into the talk of the day. Today, we'll start with the evolution of the Takaful, that is Islamic insurance in Nigeria. So how will you assess the evolution of the Takaful as a vehicle for deepening insurance penetration in Nigeria and other emerging economies?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, Takaful started back in 2003. It's like you're asking me to tell a story. When Takaful started, it was really, really challenging. There was no investment platform because as at that time, there was no non-interest banks in existence. Far back, there was a big bank, but eventually it's closed up. But when Takaful started, the first challenge phase was the issue of investment. But the insuring public, they are willing. What warranted Takaful in the first instance? Some Muslims, to be precise, it's like the way conventional insurance has been practiced is not in line with the ethics of the religion Islam. So they decided that, no, we are not going to take part of it, which my parents happened to be one of them. And when I found myself in the insurance industry, I have no option than to say, what added value can I give to this unique industry? Because why? After the death of my dad, I tried to ask for what we saw the certificate. And it's like, what can I do with this certificate? I went to the company, to my surprise, because what I've heard is that insurance, they will never pay. So, but when I got there, I asked the officers, I have this certificate. Is it possible to know what is in it for the only person that we have now, who happens to be our mom? Then he just said, no, it has matured. Even the files on my table, he now brought the file. I said, what? Does it mean insurance still pay? I felt so impressed. I said, okay, fine. Let's see what we're going to do. But eventually, I found myself in the insurance industry. And the first company that came up with Takaful then was African Alliance. And who happened to be, the MD happened to be a Christian, Mr. Okwereruba. And it's like, I wrote my thesis in Islamic finance. Can you take it up as a challenge? What can you do? That was how we started, to cut the long story short. It was really interesting. And I believe, based on what Rasulullah SAW equally teaches, that it's good for us to continue to learn. Seek for knowledge until death. Right. So I started sourcing this particular project that have been handed over to me. Is it something doable? Is it practicable in Nigeria? And that was how I started. So I did some research. I love researching. So I did some research because my own background is finance. So that gave me opportunity. So eventually I realized some other countries like Malaysia, they've started it, and other African country. And eventually it's like, is this something we can bring into Nigeria? Because when you're learning, it's good for you to see how you're going to benefit the people. That was how it all started. And we look at the way Malaysia operates. We brought it in. Our people here in Nigeria, they want to see their fund grow and they want to earn. So it's like, it's a dual, which is different from some other Islamic country where they believe everything, let's leave it to Allah. Most of it is more of donation. Eventually we started and we faced the challenge of investment. It's like, no, let's move on. But as we were pushing, we were encouraging the banks. Right. Let's see what we can do. we need to have investment platform. And that was how non-interest started. I think then micro finance, non-interest, equally came up. But we realized we are not there because the company that I started Takaful with far back in 2003 happened to be a pure life company. And they can't do general business. With my research, I realized there is equally general Takaful. So I said, how is it operated? I did my research. I got some fact and figure. I went for so many exams and all of that. And eventually I realized it's doable in Nigeria. And we started about 13 years after. That was when the regulator, they were observing us. We sent our request, they approved as a window, and we commenced. But they realized we are growing. When I saw an opportunity that there's another company that is interested in composite. When we say composite, it means both general and family business. And I have to move on. So I moved to that company and we started. So in being the first Takaful window operator as a pure family business, I happen to be the first window operator as a Takaful operator. So this encourages me that I need to do more. And that was how we started. Regulators saw that. That is one thing I appreciate about regulator. And when they saw that, it's like these people are growing and they are growing so fast. We need to regulate them. So they brought regulation. That is how many years after the origin of Takaful? That was in 2013. That's 10 years after. So we now had a regulation. And the regulation is not easy. When regulation comes, you face a lot of other challenges because they want every window to become a standalone so that regulation can appropriately be applied. And that is how we find ourselves. Now Takaful is growing in Nigeria, is growing very fast. Is even competing with the conventional industry. And this gives me a happy mind that, look, the baby that you gave birth so many years back has not really grown and is growing. So I know I have some other operators within the field that are operating Takaful. So that is just to cut the long story short of how Takaful started in Nigeria. And alhamdulillah, is growing day by day.
Looking at the insurance industry in Nigeria, how would you say, why should Takaful be, embraced over the conventional system in Nigeria? I mean, what are the selling points of Takaful?
Yeah, I think the key driver of Takaful is the principle that guides Takaful. We have three principles that guides Takaful. We have the principle, what we call principle of al-mudharaba. When we say al-mudharaba is an Islamic investment. Naturally, when we started, we thought Takaful should be meant for Muslims only. But when we started, the larger number of non-Muslims were the pioneer of embarking on Takaful products. That really encourages that there's no product. People look at the benefit to them. The first thing is the sincerity. Takaful have sincerity. When we tell you we are going to give you surplus, if you don't claim at the end of the year, we hold on to it. It equally carries face of human being. In the past, people will always tell you there's this tiny word, which we call certificate or policy document. And by the time there is claim, that is when you start seeing a lot of things coming up. And people, most of the operators then do not pay. They will hide behind that. But when we started, it was like, no, this can be. So people can read. We talk more on Takaful so that they can understand before entering into the product. And alhamdulillah, since we started, we don't have any litigation. And that shows the sincerity. And people always look forward to surplus. Because if you don't claim, you earn surplus. Any general Takaful business, there's surplus. And equally, the investment arm is equally tailored towards pure profit, not interest. So that makes it so unique. So people that have religions inclined, they appreciate it, whether Muslim or non-Muslim.
All right. Looking at insurance industry in Nigeria, which is currently which is still below 3%. What are the opportunities for leveraging Takaful to boost coverage across the country?
I think the first thing is publicity. We need to embark on mass publicity to the mosques, to individuals, to corporate organizations, to every local government, because government does a lot of insurances. If they understand the beauty of Takaful, they will embark on partaking in Takaful. And whether you're a corporate, we need to, I think the main thing now which the Takaful operator is looking at is collaboration. So 2, 3 operators now will come together, we organize a seminar, a forum where people can equally ask questions and be able to be appreciated. What you are doing is part of awareness. I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
So all these will help Takaful to grow. And sincerity is key, because if you are not sincere, definitely the product will die. So every operator needs to be very sincere. If you tell the insuring public, this is what we want to do, let it be like that. The regulators, they are doing their bit, and equally, with the operator, there's need for us to continue to hold on to whatever we have been the basis of operating our Takaful business.
All right. From your retrospect, what can you say are the challenges being faced by Takaful operators? I mean, how can in what ways can NICOM and NIA support to scale this in the country? These challenges and issues being faced. How can the regulatory bodies help?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Actually, in all sincerity, we've been raising a lot of challenges with both the regulator and NIA, and they've been doing wonderfully well. As at last year, 2003, there was a lot of programs that were organized by the regulator in conjunction with NIA, where Takaful was the main. And even especially in the northern zone, they equally went there physically to tutor them, to talk to them. Equally, there was a program towards the end of last year, 2023, which NICOM organized. It was in Abuja. And it was this should have come a long time ago, but it's not too late. And most of the government parastatals were there. And that gave them the opening to know that there's need for every parastatal to equally have insurance in all the activities, either for the staff, for the asset, and many more. So these are some of the things that the regulators are doing. We believe they can do more, because we are Oliver Trees. We continue to ask for more. Right. So I appreciate them for that. I would say they should move on and continue.
Okay, all right. It means so far so good. The regulatory bodies are, helping. So it's making the space conducive for all the operators in the Takaful practice.
Absolutely. Right. Only that the operator, we need to spread our tentacles. It's like we are just jacking businesses within ourselves. There's some other prospects out there. Right. Some other sectors, they are yet to have insurance or Takaful in their portfolio. So why don't we move there? Exactly. So those are some of the things we need to work on. Not that this person is having a social ABC company. No, let me join that. Let me just hijack that. You don't need that. The market is so wide. We are so lucky in this part of the country. So the market is there for us. But we're just awaiting us to move to them, and we get the businesses.
Okay, let's look at the outlook for the growth of Takaful, especially in this new year 2024 and the coming years. What's the prospect of it growing broader than it is?
Yeah, there's a lot of prospect for Takaful. At least towards the end of 2023, from my organization, what we have seen is that even some government parastatals were calling on Takaful. So it was really shocking, and we've sent a lot of proposals to most of these parastatals. And some individual organization, they will just call that, please, can we have your proposal? It's like, wow, it means Takaful is really spreading. Right. So the more we spread this, the more we can do. We can equally look at different sectors, send proposal to them, let them start to get to know that we exist. The market is there for us, no doubt about that. It's now awaiting us to move. So the plan from my own organization is to ensure that there's no sectors we will not touch.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you for coming on the show with us. And that was really enlightening. I mean, I am so glad we have, a pioneer of Takaful, which is Islamic Insurance, with us in the studio to give us an intrinsic knowledge on what Takaful is. I mean, the growth, the evolution of Takaful. Thank you so much, Hajab Ayubat, for coming.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you for inviting me.
You're welcome, ma'am. Takaful is here to stay. I mean, it started way back in 2003 and we've, gone down the evolution of it and how it is growing rapidly. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't embraced this system of insurance, well, you better do. I mean, if you did not get anything from this episode, you better go back, watch and learn. And I mean, do what is good for you. And with that, I say, don't forget to keep it to date with us next week on the program. Follow us on all our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Thank you for watching. I am Rahma Say Muhammad.